Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to install our lock system at Sinclairs from scratch. You're going to need the USB with the software on it, a marking pad, a wad of cards, a card reader synced with the two lights showing that it's all ready to go, and you're going to need to have the registration card. You need all that to get this whole process underway. Step 1, we need to make sure that the USB is inserted into the computer and that you can actually see the software on the computer, which it is. This is an EXE software which will install itself to the program file. Okay, we're at the step 2 section of installing the software. Once the software is actually installed on the PC, we need to move across to the top and we're going to come to the system settings. We're going to scroll down to register the software. We know that our card reader is connected to the PC and we have put the registered card, which registers the software, on the reader. We then go and follow the on-computer instructions and just scroll through, and it all is quite self-explanatory after Once that. You've restarted the software, you then need to enter the license code for the hotel code so they match. Once we've registered the software at stage or step 2, we move to stage or step 3, and that is we go into the system settings again and we scroll down to system parameters, and we follow all the bits and pieces that we have to install about the software. And they're just all quite self-explanatory. 5, you need to build all your rooms and their doors and their common doors and all the other bits and pieces. You just follow along through all the tabs running along the top, and it's just a trial and see process. Eventually you will see that all your rooms will appear along here. In this instance here, we have 14 rooms available with their property code and room code ready to go. Okay, now that we're all set up and the software's working and the scanner is connected to the PC and all our rooms and system parameters are working, we now need to focus our attention on registering the lock itself. To do that, we need to first strike a card using our settings from the computer and send it to the lock itself. So you go up to maintenance, scroll down to setting card, create the setting card. In this instance we're going to do room number 1. We're going to check that all the system parameters are correct. We're going to write room number 1 on the card itself, and once we've done that, we're going to put that on the scanner. All set to go. Just going to move that over because it's very important that you see and hear what happens next. We're going to issue the card and the green light flashes and we get a sound. Now we have a room card for number 1 being setting card. Now that we have our setting card for room 1, we need to create a time card. The time card is not room or door sensitive. It just issues time to the card, which will be the same time that you have at the bottom of the PC, but it has a delay of 5 minutes. So we're going to write on the card itself time card, so we know that this card is our time card, and we will also know that we have about 5 minutes worth of life to keep the correct time. We're going to put the time card onto the scanner itself. We're going to go up, we're going to go into the maintenance, we're going to scroll to the time card, we're going to make sure that everything's all right, put in the right name of the person. In this instance it was Alicia, but we'll move it off to Lindsay Titterley, and we'll issue the card. And we get the same response from the scanner as we did with the setting. Now that we have our setting card, which we've labelled room 1, and we have the time card clearly set and ready to go, we will also need the authority card. These 3 cards are required to program the lock at the door level to communicate with the software. Okay, this lock that we're about to register to the Sinclairs Country Retreat property code has been used previously in Sinclairs. Because it's been previously used in Sinclairs on another property, we have to reset the lock back to this property and start at the beginning. To do that, we need the suction cap, which we apply the suction cap and the key. So the suction cap will go on to the lock itself. We remove the cap. Then we're going to put the key in. We need this key, and then we turn the key and we hold the key in the position, apply the registration card over the top of the card, and we get a blue light. Sometimes you need to do this twice, but you definitely need to see the blue light. That way you know that this lock has been registered to the property code. Now that we have registered the lock to the property, we need to give it a time, which we are now going to swipe the time card across the scanner. That is the same card that we used at the computer when we created it. Now that the time is on the card and the lock, we need to now program the lock to be room number 1. We put the setting card over the scanner, and now we're good to go. One would think that this lock is now programmed to this property. It has the correct time and it has the room setting details within the lock itself.